We finally have the answer to the age-old question of what would it take a MAGA supporter to leave Donald Trump? What would it take for them to turn their back on Donald Trump? We thought maybe the 34 felony counts and convictions would be enough. Maybe the E. Jean Carroll and the claims and cases of sexual assault and rape would be enough. Maybe it was this tax bill in which the lower class gets absolutely destroyed while giving their money to the billionaires. Maybe it was this, maybe it was that, maybe it was this, but we never saw the line crossed. And now we finally have the answer to what is making MAGA leave Donald Trump, because I have seen more and more videos about people showing their disdain and displeasure over Donald Trump and Pam Bondi not releasing these Epstein files than I have seen over anything else.
So 34 felonies weren't enough, but this is? The priorities here are absolutely wild. Classified documents, whatever. But not releasing files about a dead pedophile? That's the line. Look, I'm glad people are waking up, but come on, this was always going to happen. You can't promise to drain the swamp when you're literally in the swamp. The guy partied with Epstein. He's in those flight logs. So acting shocked that he won't expose himself? That's just basic logic. You can't drain the swamp when you're the alligator swimming in it. Better late than never, I guess.
Am I wrong? Are you seeing this? This has been, and I'm not saying obviously it's all MAGA. I mean, come on, that'd be ridiculous. But I'm seeing a ton of people posting videos saying they are pissed at Donald Trump and his administration because that was the thing that brought them to the table. That was what was brought them into the cult. That brought them into the cult.
Take a look, Donald. They're burning the MAGA hats. The MAGA supporters of Donald Trump are livid and feel betrayed for a variety of reasons, including Donald Trump covering up the Epstein files. We have total chaos and hell breaking loose within the MAGA world. A basic civil war is kind of taking place. You know Rasmussen, the Pole that Donald Trump loves? He loves citing Rasmussen. Here's what Rasmussen said yesterday. The Republican Party is going into a mutiny. It's just a matter of when it's going to take place. You have people, MAGA influencers, posting this. The Epstein list will never be released. There will be no arrest. There will be no accountability. There will be no justice. That is how I and so many others feel right now. We've been had. Elon Musk goes, yup, that is right. You have people posting burn your MAGA hats over and over again.
This is what a Ponzi scheme looks like when it collapses. Mexico paying for the wall? Didn't happen. Best healthcare? Never came. Lock her up? Nope. Epstein files? Crickets. And now? The returns stopped coming and people are scrambling, burning hats, unfollowing, turning on each other like rats on a sinking ship. Here's the lesson. When you tie your entire identity to one person instead of actual values, you're setting yourself up for inevitable betrayal. People will always disappoint you. That's human nature. But principles, democracy, accountability, truth, those don't change. MAGA built on a man. That man's failing. Now they've got nothing.
This is what happens with Donald Trump and all of these Ponzi schemes. Eventually, the people who are being had, they figure it out. Also, Elon Musk is basically unfollowing now every MAGA account at once. Got that going on. You have Gunther Eagleman, a big right-wing MAGA influencer, says, so wait a minute, Donald Trump is going after James Comey and John Brennan. He goes, is the Comey investigation a distraction from the Epstein files? And then Cat Turd, one of the big right-wing influencers, is like, what the F are you doing? Did you not get our talking points? What the F are you doing, man? While all of this is going on, as I've said before, there's also just an issue of basic freaking competence. Kristi Noem, what a vile piece of trash. And I know you get angry sometimes when you go, hey, Ben, don't do the name calling. Sorry. Sometimes Noem didn't authorize FEMA's deployment of urban search and rescue teams until Monday in the Kerr County region in Texas, more than 72 hours after the flooding began, multiple sources told CNN. You see, what happened is, as they were eliminating FEMA and gutting all of these agencies like NOAA, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, and NWS, the National Weather Service, one of the things that NOAA did is there was any expenditure over $100,000, it needed her personal signature. So the people at FEMA said they were ready with the supplies, with the urban search and rescue equipment, with the swift boats, with all of the things that they needed. And she would not sign off on it. You know what she was doing all night on Sunday? She was posting photos of herself on Instagram and polling people which should be her governor's portrait. The Blondie photo, the cowgirl photo, which one do people like the best right there?
Incompetence has a face, and it's taking selfies. 72 hours. That's how long rescue teams waited while Kristi Noem decided which photo made her look cuter. People drowning in Texas, and she's running Instagram polls. This is what happens when you prioritize loyalty over competence. When you hire people based on how well they kiss ass instead of whether they can do the job. And the result? Americans paying with their lives. Here's the question for anyone still defending this. When your house floods, when your family needs help, do you want a trained professional or an influencer with good lighting? Because right now, you're getting the Instagram model.
And it's why it makes me so utterly angry. And as they give us more fake stats from the Trump regime, like what...
At this point, MAGA is no different than these crazy ass liberals out here. And I say that because the minute someone disagrees with Trump on any type of policies, as if we can't have our own mind, because that's what we said MAGA is that we know how to think for ourselves. We think independently. We don't worship a president because we say we worship Jesus Christ. But now I'm starting to see that that's just not the case. See, the way y'all been coming at Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon, Alex Jones, hell, even Marjorie Taylor Greene, just for asking and posing questions, provoking thought about the state of the 1948s. And y'all know who I'm talking about. Their questions are legitimate.
The irony here is absolutely delicious. Suddenly, MAGA's asking the same questions progressives have asked for decades. Why are we funding endless wars? Why is foreign policy controlled by lobbyists? Why aren't we putting Americans first? And now, they're getting called anti-Semitic for it. Welcome to what the left has dealt with forever. Question unconditional foreign aid, question war crimes, question policy, and you get smeared. Criticizing a government isn't hating its people. But nuance doesn't sell, does it? The tragedy? MAGA cheered when this tactic silenced progressives. Omar, Tlaib, Sanders, all smeared for asking these exact questions. But now it's happening to them. Suddenly it's a problem. Yeah, we tried to warn you. I'd to warn.
If we say that we are about America first being the priority, far too long, we have always given money out, giving aid out to fighting in people's wars, using our defense of this country for everybody else's issues. And I thought that this time in this history, this presidency, it will completely be about America first. But y'all are reneging on that when it comes to the state of the 1948s. And then you call anybody that questions it anti-Semitic. The way y'all are turning on this girl here, Candace Owens, and I've been following Candace Owens since 2017. That's how long I've been down with being Make America Great Again in Trump. Seriously. Because she provoked thought about what is the benefits of us supporting the state of 1948s in all of their chaos and wars that they have. Many of them that you don't know, they started. They do false flags. We've been knowing that for a very long time. Even President Trump stated this in his first presidential run back in 2015 or 2016, whenever it was. He stated that they knew that they did not have weapons of mass destruction. He stated that. And here we are again, listening to the same neocons in Congress, dual citizenship in Congress, warmongers in Congress, backing the same man that said the same thing during the 9/11, and then also been saying the same thing for 30 plus years about Iran. There's no different rhetoric that's coming from Netanyahu. It's the same things that he said back in the 90s about Iran. So what made it so much of an urgency now? If he said they had 60% of uranium 30 years ago versus 60% or so now. So what made it so urgent? That's the question. And that is what she's raising. That is what Tucker Carlson is raising. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Alex Jones, Steve Bannon, all of these people. So you're turning your backs on the same people that have gone through thick and thin over President Trump. Going to jail, losing their jobs, their names dragged through the media, everything. And y'all turn your backs on them just because they question the state of the 1948. And if you don't know by now, that's who's running our media. And there is a smear campaign going on with anybody that questions it. Even my videos have been suppressed. They'll probably suppress this one because they want everyone to be very much monolithic when it comes to them. You can have division on every other issue. Of course, they encourage division because from division comes war. But you need to be monolithic in your thinking when it comes to the state of the 1948 on both sides. Because you even have Pelosi backing up Trump, which we know that never happens. That doesn't tell you something?
When Pelosi and MAGA agree on something, that should terrify you because it's not left versus right anymore. It's the establishment versus everyone else. Both parties take money from the same lobbyists. Both parties support the same endless wars. Both parties serve the same donors. So when working class MAGA voters realize they've been supporting the exact neocon policies they claim to hate, yeah, that's gonna sting. Here's the practical reality. Real change doesn't come from blind party loyalty. It comes from following policy. Ask yourself every single time, does this help working Americans or does it help defense contractors and billionaires? Because right now, both parties are failing that test spectacularly.
That this is something that's being orchestrated here? I don't understand why y'all not waking up. And the thing about it is with Candace Owens, because I didn't know how bad it was over there in Gaza until I watched some of the videos that she had about what is going on. You have children, babies being buried in rubble over there. They're pulling their loved ones from rubble. They're being starved to death. I don't think y'all really understand what's going on. This is a crime of humanity that this man in the state of 1948 is committing. And y'all are choosing to turn a blind eye on it. And if this is what MAGA is really about, you might as well unfollow me now. Because I'm done. I don't want to be controlled by the left. And I'm damn sure not going to be controlled by the right. So deuces.
All right, guys, Donald Trump and MAGA has a big problem, okay? So right now there is a fissure, I think might be the word, a giant crevasse, a crack in the MAGA base. And it's coming, it's in the form, the wedge is being driven in the form of a coalition of mainly far right-wing people. So, and I'm here for it. You know, the saying, the enemy of my enemy is mi amigo. And hey, anything we can do to smack this administration right the fuck out of office, I'm about it.
Nick Fuentes is your leader now, a literal Holocaust-denying Nazi? Look, I agree, we spend too much on foreign aid. I agree, American dollars should help Americans first. But when an actual white supremacist becomes the face of your movement, you've lost the plot entirely. You can criticize foreign policy without being a bigot. You can question spending without hating people. But letting Fuentes speak for you, you just crossed from policy debate into straight-up hatred. And Steve Bannon's right. Lose 10% of the base over this infighting, and 40 seats disappear in the midterms. So here's free advice. If you actually care about America first, run from the Nazis. Fast. Because otherwise, your movement dies. And honestly, it'll deserve to.
So guys, Nick Fuentes is gaining in popularity rapidly. Now, I don't want to give too much shine to this clown because I also am of the ilk that Israel, the government of Israel, has way too much pull and influence on our day-to-day lives. I think we give way too much money, taxpayer money, to the government of Israel. We should not be doing their bidding. They should not be integrated so much into controlling our government. I get that, but there's a big difference. And I make the distinction where somebody like Nick Fuentes does not. There's a big difference between the people of Israel and the government of Israel. Let's not mix the two up, right? Just like we wouldn't want them mixing up us Americans with our current administration, the current shit show that is our administration. We wouldn't want people over there making that mistake or miscalculus. Anyway, guys, if they lose just 10%, and Steve Bannon said this, who is a very long time Trump supporter, but he said if the MAGA base, the maggots, lose just 10% of their base, they will lose 40 seats in the upcoming midterms. Now, we already know we're going to crush them in upcoming elections. Like, I definitely think that Gavin Newsom, not my first choice, but I do think he will be the next president of the United States. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Not that the grocery prices and the economy weren't already going to smack this administration out of office anyway, but this new coalition, the Tucker Carlsons, the Candace Owens, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes, the Nick Fuenteses, they're doing the work too. They're helping the cause. So anyway, holla at your boy, give your boy a follow, repost the video, all that good shit. I'll be back tomorrow with another Epstein update. Peace.
November 15th, 2025, the end of Donald Trump and MAGA. I promise you. And it's not quite for the reasons that you think. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene knows that Trump and MAGA are done, and she is distancing herself big time. The reason that they're done is because a young man put all of these email files online in a searchable function with keyword searches, and now everybody on the left and beyond are sleuthing and putting pieces together. And this is exactly what was the undoing of Hillary Clinton and her campaign. Somebody put the WikiLeaks emails online, and a whole bunch of people started doing their own investigations, searching the files. And I guarantee, I promise you, it includes Marjorie Taylor Greene. I promise she did it as well.
Poetic justice in real time. The same tactic that hurt Clinton in 2016, searchable files, open source investigation, is now destroying MAGA from within. But here's the beautiful difference. Back then, they needed Russian propaganda, wild conspiracies, Pizzagate nonsense to make those emails seem worse. This time, the left doesn't need conspiracies. The facts are damning enough. No made-up stories, no QAnon garbage, just emails, documents, truth. And once files are searchable online, the digging never stops. People will keep finding connections, exposing corruption, uncovering lies. Marjorie Taylor Greene knows it. That's why she's running. Still a snake, but a smart one. You can't spin your way out of facts.
Now, the only difference between then and now is that those on the right who were going through the WikiLeaks emails were also being fed big conspiracies due to Russian and China interference that came out in the Mueller reports. So where the WikiLeaks emails were bad enough against Clinton and establishment Democrats, there were other nefarious sources that attached Jeffrey Epstein to all of it, attached COVID conspiracies to all of it. We don't need to do that. We're not those kind of people on the left. We just simply have to investigate the facts. And with these now being online, it will never stop ending. What is discovered will never stop ending. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene knows this. She's still a viper. But right now she's a viper attacking our enemy, Trump and MAGA Republicans. But still, keep your distance from her. Just sit back and enjoy the show. But yeah, I promise you he's done.
Inflation's going up. Gas prices hasn't really come down that much. Eggs, that's the funny one. The eggs. I'm mad. And I'm a mega man. Okay? I don't see anything he's done.
So is it safe to say that the illusion has faded?
I think it has, yes. You know, I was for him because, you know, everything he said, you know, he played right into my hands. He just told us everything we wanted to hear. You know, they all the right side, they say, oh yeah, the Biden side was so bad. Well, what's so good about the right side? He brags about doing something with our economy, but I haven't seen anything happen yet. That big beautiful bill is going to add, they say $2.5 trillion. It's going to add about $4 trillion to the debt. The big beautiful bill. Oh, what a joke.
I haven't seen anything happen yet. Exactly. This is what happens when you vote based on vibes instead of policy. When you believe a salesman instead of checking the receipts. Gas, not cheaper. Eggs, $7 a dozen. The debt, adding $4 trillion with the big, beautiful bill. It's Reagan's trickle down all over again. Rich get richer. Working people pay more taxes. And now these voters are sitting there like, wait, we got scammed? Yes, you got scammed because billionaires don't get rich by helping you. They get rich by exploiting you. Tax cuts for them, higher bills for you. That's not a bug. That's the feature. You just finally noticed.
I remember what happened in the 80s with trickle-down economics. Yeah, The filthy rich got richer, and us guys that worked for a living paid more taxes. I'm disappointed for sure. I'm real disappointed.
Have you noticed more people online saying that they renounce Trump and MAGA? Hey everybody, Rich here at Leaving MAGA, leavingmaga.org. For those of you who are like me online a lot, I'm pretty confident that you are starting to see more and more people express remorse and regret for voting for Trump and supporting the MAGA movement. And for any of you out there who know someone who's having doubts, who knows someone who's left MAGA, please introduce them to what we're doing here at Leaving MAGA. And if any of you out there are in MAGA and you feel like you've reached a red line where there's one betrayal, one lie too many, I want you to know that we're here to support you. I know what you're going through. I've been where you are, and there's a better way, and that you can actually leave MAGA and don't need to keep living a life based on lies, falsehoods, and conspiracies. So make sure you follow on our socials. Make sure you keep checking out online people who are leaving. It is so encouraging. We have never, as an organization, been busier, and that's a testament not to me, but to our team and to all of you out there who support us. So thanks for watching. As always, we really appreciate all that you do for us.
Peak denial right here. We didn't trash DC. The government made us do it by not providing trash cans. You're adults. If there's no trash can, you hold your trash. This isn't rocket science. Same energy as the dog ate my homework, except you're grown people with voting rights. This is MAGA's core problem. Zero accountability. Never their fault. Deep state, liberals, trash cans. If you spend years screaming about personal responsibility, maybe start by taking some. Because right now, just looks like hypocrisy wrapped in excuses.
Look at how all the Trump supporters wrecked DC. Look at how ugly.
You ready for the real story? Because I was in that line. People stood in that line for 10 plus hours and there were no garbage cans. Throughout the security, they were literally taking everything out of our bags and there were no garbage cans. That was intentional, so there would be people like you that would go online and push this type of propaganda trying to paint Trump supporters as bad. And to all my followers, go to this woman's page and go see that all of her videos are basically her just screaming in a megaphone. The IQ level speaks for itself. And she's the reason that cities like mine have codes against using megaphones, because this is freaking annoying.
The movement's in free fall. Supporters turning on each other, burning hats, finally realizing they got played. And honestly, accountability matters. You can't scream fake news at every inconvenient fact, then act shocked when reality catches up. You can't follow a con man, then play victim when he cons you. Economics isn't partisan. Truth isn't negotiable. Reality doesn't care about feelings. So to those finally waking up, welcome back. It's messy, it's complicated, and it requires actual critical thinking. But it beats living in a cult. Drop a comment. Is MAGA really collapsing or just temporarily fractured? Hit that like button, share with someone still in the bubble, and subscribe. Because this collapse, just getting started. See you next time.